There is a moment in life nobody prepares you for. It is not the moment you fail. It is not the moment you lose money. It is not even the moment someone betrays you. It is the moment you realize that the people you thought would always be there can simply leave. No explanation, no warning, no final conversation that makes everything make sense. One day, your phone is full of messages. The next, it is silent. One day, someone tells you that you matter. The next, they treat you like a stranger. And most people make the same mistake. They chase, they explain, they apologize. They try to become more lovable. Because somewhere inside, they believe that losing someone means losing a piece of themselves. But what if that belief is completely backwards? What if the pain of losing people is not caused by their absence, but by the part of you that was secretly depending on their presence to feel whole? This is where Schopenhauer becomes dangerous. Because beneath his philosophy of desire is a disturbing idea. Human beings can spend their entire lives trying to obtain things that temporarily silence an emptiness that never truly disappears. And relationships can become one of the most beautiful disguises for that hunger. But there is something even stranger. Why does one person collapse after being abandoned, while another becomes quieter, calmer, almost impossible to disturb? Is the second person simply stronger? Or have they discovered something the first person never understood? And here is the question I want you to remember throughout this entire video. If everyone you love disappeared tomorrow, what part of you would still remain? Because later, we are going to uncover the one realization that can completely change the way you experience rejection, loneliness, and loss. It is not about becoming cold. It is not about needing nobody. And it is not about pretending you do not care. The answer is far more uncomfortable. Because when you finally understand what people actually take from you when they leave, you may discover that they never took what you thought they did. And once you see that, you will never look at being alone the same way again. Number 1. The moment everyone disappears. There is a strange truth about human strength. You rarely discover how strong you are while people are standing beside you. You discover it when the room becomes empty, when the messages stop, when the person you trusted chooses someone else, when the applause disappears and nobody asks how you are doing. Most people believe loneliness is the enemy. Schopenhauer saw something darker. Our suffering often comes from the desperate demand that the outside world continue giving us what we cannot give ourselves. Attention, validation, companionship, meaning. And the moment those things disappear, we mistake withdrawal for destruction. But what if being abandoned is not proof that you have lost your value? What if it is the moment your dependence becomes visible? There is a reason some people collapse when one person leaves, while others become strangely calm. There is a psychological difference hiding beneath that reaction. And later, we will uncover why the person who can tolerate solitude gains a form of freedom that crowds can never provide. But first, we have to understand the uncomfortable machine operating underneath every attachment. Because the person you think you cannot live without may not be the person you are actually afraid of losing. Number 2, the hunger behind attachment. Schopenhauer believed human beings are driven by endless wanting. We reach one goal, experience satisfaction for a moment, and then desire something else. The same pattern appears in relationships. At first, someone gives you attention. Your mind becomes fascinated. Their message changes your mood. Their silence becomes a threat. Their approval feels like evidence that you matter. And slowly, without noticing, affection becomes psychological dependency. The disturbing part is that dependency can disguise itself as love. Imagine a successful executive who checks his phone every 3 minutes because one person has not replied. His company is worth millions, yet his emotional state is controlled by a notification screen. Technology did not create this weakness. It simply exposed it. Social media does the same thing at scale. Every like becomes a tiny confirmation. Every unfollow becomes a tiny rejection. The mind begins outsourcing its sense of worth to strangers. Here is the twist. The more intensely you need someone's presence, the more power their absence acquires. And once you understand that, loneliness starts looking less like an empty room and more like a psychological X-ray. But there is something even more dangerous than being alone. It is believing you are incomplete because you are alone. Number 3, the illusion that someone completes you. Modern culture romanticizes completion. Find your person. Find your tribe. Find the people who understand you. The message sounds beautiful, but hidden inside it is a dangerous assumption that your internal stability must come from external possession. Schopenhauer's philosophy points toward a harsher possibility. Human beings are often dissatisfied not because life gives them too little, but because desire constantly tells them that something outside themselves will finally be enough. Consider a startup founder who builds his entire identity around a business partner. Together, they become unstoppable. Then the partner leaves. Suddenly, the founder does not simply lose a colleague, he loses the version of himself that existed beside that person. The company survives, but psychologically he feels erased. That is why separation hurts more than absence. It attacks identity. The twist is that solitude can force a separation between who you are and who you became for other people. And once that separation begins, something unexpected happens. You start hearing your own thoughts without the crowd translating them for you. Yet, there is a deeper problem. Most people do not fear solitude itself. They fear what solitude reveals. Number 4, when silence exposes you. Put a person alone in a silent room for an hour. No phone, no music, no conversation, nothing demanding attention. The first few minutes may feel peaceful. Then the mind begins producing noise. Memories surface. Old conversations return. Imagined arguments appear. Regrets become strangely vivid. The silence did not create those thoughts. It removed the distractions that were hiding them. This is why people often run toward stimulation immediately after rejection. They scroll. They work. They date again. They surround themselves with noise. Not because they have healed, but because they cannot tolerate what becomes visible without distraction. Imagine someone losing a relationship on a Monday and downloading 5 dating apps by Tuesday. Everyone around them calls it moving on. Perhaps it is. Or perhaps it is emotional anesthesia. Here is the pattern interrupt. Imagine that tomorrow, every person who validates you disappears for 30 days. No compliments, no romantic attention, no social media reactions, no reassurance. What would remain when nobody is reflecting your identity back to you? That question is uncomfortable because it reveals whether your confidence is internal or rented. And this leads directly to the most misunderstood form of strength: learning to sit inside uncertainty without immediately trying to escape it. Number 5, the strength of not chasing. There is a moment after someone leaves when the mind begins bargaining. Maybe I should send one more message. Maybe I explained it badly. Maybe if they understand what I really meant, they will come back. This is where emotional instability becomes visible. The mind hates unfinished stories. It wants closure, even when closure is impossible. Schopenhauer's view of desire helps explain why. Desire creates tension, and the mind seeks relief. Contact promises immediate relief. So you reach out, they respond, and the anxiety drops. Then they become distant again, and the cycle returns. You are no longer choosing the relationship, you are managing withdrawal. The same mechanism appears in business negotiations. A desperate seller lowers the price before the buyer even asks. Why? Because uncertainty feels more painful than losing value. A calm negotiator can tolerate silence. A desperate one fills it. That difference looks like confidence, but underneath it is something simpler: the ability to endure an uncomfortable emotional state without obeying it. And when you stop chasing every source of relief, you begin discovering how much of your life was previously controlled by discomfort.